So now in 2017, I'm going to start collecting for consoles again. It's a different world now than it used to be. When my kids were born, I was able to... PC gaming enabled me to kind of open up to a world of collecting where I could get some awesome games and not have things around for my kids to break. You know, I could baby-proof the house, and it wasn't really a problem. When my son was very young, I remember him standing in front of my Sega Saturn with the lid open. He was like 1, maybe. Sega Saturn lid was open, and he was like moving the CD that was in it around. And I remember, oh well, let's just get to the good stuff. Let's start with this. It's just a little gadget that's going to help me out here. It's an AV adapter for the Sega Genesis. I talked about this on the podcast, and I had, I think, 3 different people tell me, you can get an AV adapter for the Genesis. My Genesis had an RF switch, and I thought that was it. I thought there was, for some reason, I didn't think there was any any adapter for the Genesis. This is it. This is going to enable me to take that thing and put it up here in my office, which is awesome. It's the simple things, these little cables that get tossed in boxes and take it for granted. But the second you don't have one and you can't turn your system on, you know, or put it on the TV, it really hits home quickly how important these are. So I have that. I'll set this up right next to the Master System, and then I'll be made in the shade. So let's do this. Let's take a look at the room and see what we're working with here. This is the space I got now. There used to be a bed here. This just came out in favor of this couch. So now, for the first time, this is like a place that can house more than one person. And we got the beautiful Panzer Studios here where I do the podcast every week. And then over here, this is where we have the interesting stuff. This is an old abandoned TV that my in-laws were using, and they got something better, and it just kind of ended up sitting in here. But now I have a Sega Master System hooked up to it, and an old boombox so I can play some tapes, which I've actually done. Now the rest of the shelf is my stuff. This is my shelf, but it's kind of a mess. I've got some games here, but just a few PC oddities. I really want to get rid of all the extra stuff and turn this into my gaming shelf. Some of the cool stuff I was sent: Rise of Nations, Title Legends. Jeez, I got stuff falling all over the place. Racing Wheel. This is it. I want to turn this into my full-time setup, because now that I have a room to house all this stuff, my kids are getting a little older, we can actually pile in here and I can enjoy playing some of these awesome video games with my kids. So that's it. Really what this is about is taking my first baby steps into becoming a collector again, for the first time in many, many years. I don't know how I'm going to go about making acquisitions these days, because you used to be able to do, I mean, I got a lot of great stuff at the thrift store, not even being somebody who checks the thrift store all the time. Just going once in a while, I was able to find some great stuff. But it's not like it used to be. I noticed once going to the thrift store that there was a guy like paying off the people in the back, so the games aren't even making it to the shelves anymore. The people who separate the donations are pulling the games out, and they're saving it to the guys who who pay them off. So right now this is about getting this room into shape and making a space to put new stuff when that time comes. First couple of games are in the mail, so that time is coming soon. When that happens, we will meet again.